This is Zafar Abundance Wala, and you are watching Abundance Show on Global Abundance Organization Television, GAO TV. How do we move from fixing problem to this designing future? Today on Abundance Show, we are joined by Victoria, a leading uncoach facilitator and solution focused practitioner based in Ukraine. Over 20 years of experience, including her leadership at SIETAR Europea. Victoria specializes in helping multicultural teams navigating changes, not by dwelling on shortcomings, but by harnessing an abundance of existing resources. She is author of Moving from Problem to Solution and a powerful voice on ethical leadership across cultures. Today, we explore how the solution focused approach creates a mindset of plenty and abundance, even in the most challenging environment. Welcome, Victoria, and how are you?
Thank you. Thank you for presenting me and having me with you today. You have presented me so nicely. I didn't know that you have actually prepared the whole speech about me. So this is an abundant speech. So thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much. The uncoach philosophy, Victoria, you call yourself an uncoach and focus on solution focused approach. How does shifting the focus from what is wrong to what is working
Mm.
fundamentally change a leader's access to abundance?
Yeah. Yeah. Um, if we speak about the solution-focused approach to life in general and to work as well, because that's what we have been exploring a lot with managers and the teams. You're right, the focus of attention or where we are standing actually changes our perception of what we see. Yeah. So where you stand stipulates what you see. And for instance, if you have a problem in your life and you detail your problem, so you discuss it again and again, this problem kind of grows, yeah? And you are focused on what is missing. But when you shift your focus of attention and you ask yourself, okay, so this is the problem and I don't like what is happening. And then what I would like to have instead, then you shift the focus of your attention from what is missing to what is possible. And both of us, we know that what is possible, speaking about the possibilities, the opportunities, yeah, leads us to abundance. There might be abundance of new ideas or projects, or abundance of curiosity, how my life can change if I would wish to do something different in my life. Yeah. So this is actually about all the time. The solution-focused approach is always about shifting the focus of attention towards the abundancy, rather than what is missing, what goes wrong, what I don't like or we don't like, etc. Yeah. And again, if we're speaking about the teams, teams are people, yeah, and people sometimes have conflicts. For instance, when there is a conflict in a team, then we are speaking about shortages, yeah. We are speaking about, again, something that doesn't work well. And then if we shift the focus of our attention from what doesn't work well to what is still working well or what is already working well, then we shift our team into a space where then they can explore what is working and what else could be done for things to work even better. Yeah. So this is I think that solution-focused approach works very well with the concept of abundancy, because it offers a different perspective on everything that we have in our life and what we might have in our life. Does it make sense?
Yeah, it does lot
Mm.
of make a lot of sense. and it's true to the fact, and what's happening right now all around you, it also endorses that. Okay, yeah, Victoria, recently you raised recently a poignant question about whether ethical leadership is a universal ideal or cultural construct. In a globalized world, how can leaders find an abundance of common ground when their definition of ethics might differ?
Yeah. Yeah. So the question of ethical leadership has been on the table for a long time, right? And so that's what we're going to discuss soon at our Discuss and Debate Club. But if you ask me if it is culturally stipulated, I think that it is culturally influenced. That in every country there is an ideal of a leader who has both like general or common qualities, but also the local qualities. I'm sure that, you know, if we speak about the leaders in Ukraine and in Pakistan or in India or in China, there will be certain qualities, the set of skills and qualities that are common for all our countries. But also there will be some national peculiarities, because in some countries, the leader is the person who is very strong and influential, while in some other countries, the leader might be a person who follows them rather than leads them. Yeah. Who said that? I don't remember. Was it a Chinese philosopher who said, was it Lao Tzu who said, if you would like to lead people, follow them? And for me, I mean, this is a great concept, but some other people might say, oh, no, this is not a good concept for us. Yeah, we need a different leader. This is different from country to country, but still there are a lot of things that are shared by everyone. What do you think?
But yeah, in fact, I mean, this not only differ from leader to leader, but also yes, cultural context. If we see the things in one culture could be different from other. So I really endorse what you say. And moving to my next question, can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
I do.
You have documented your reflections on aggression against Ukraine in your book War Thoughts. War and
What
it's
thoughts?
like
Yeah.
war thoughts. How does one maintain a solution focused mindset and look for preferred futures when the present reality is defined by such extreme scarcity and conflict?
Now, uh, can I clarify this question?
Basically, this is about resilience in Ukraine. The
Okay.
people are resilient, and you've documented your reflection on aggression against Ukraine in your book War Thoughts. How does one maintain a solution focused mindset and look for preferred futures preferred futures when present reality is defined by such extreme scarcity and conflict? As you were talking before, I mean, before the session, we were just in our session, we were talking before this. This is about resilience in Ukraine. The people of Ukraine
Okay.
are resilient.
Okay. So there are two things here. This book that I wrote, but that is not actually the book. These are really, I mean, during the first 300 days of the Russia's aggression against Ukraine, and I think that was during 300 days. I contributed regular to the social media, to Facebook and LinkedIn, and I was writing what I was feeling during these days. So that was not necessarily something big, but some small reflections of what is happening and some thoughts that I found comforting at that period of time, probably.
Okay.
And if you ask me how solution focused is helpful in difficult times, then yes, indeed. So you can practice solution focused approach everywhere, and also, or maybe it is even more important during the dark times, when you are in the dark times. Again, why? Because of the focus of attention. In Ukraine, people are strong and resilient because they are focused on their strengths, right? Not on their weaknesses. And that makes a difference, because if you think, oh, the situation is so difficult and I don't have this and I don't have that, etc., then you feel powerless, right? But if you say the situation is extremely difficult, but I'm strong enough to cope with this and I'm strong enough to manage this, then you become more powerful. So many people, by the way, I asked my colleagues some time ago, so what are their kind of metaphors, where their words when they hear the word Ukrainian or Ukrainians, so what comes into their mind? And most of the answers started with the word resilient. Yeah. And then the second place was like brave. So brave, resilient, inventive, all these nice words. They come together when people think about Ukraine and Ukrainians. And again, how did we develop this approach to life? Only because we think that we can. Yeah. We support each other here. And also it's very important, the word gratitude. And both of us, we know that gratitude is really very important, and it gives you abundance. Yeah. And here we are grateful for many things and to many people. We are grateful to our defenders who are fighting on the front lines. We are grateful to those people who are making our life easier after shellings, like people who work in the energy sector or construction, or they save lives, yeah, like doctors, etc. So people of many professions, actually of all the professions. Or we are grateful to the volunteers. Of course, we are grateful to our partners who have been supporting us through all these years. So being grateful is a very important thing in life. And I think that also it's important that children learn that from very early ages, from childhood. Here it's a very sad tradition, but when a soldier comes back home on a shield, yeah, so which means that this is just the body of the defender that arrives home, then all the people, they kneel along the way. So while the car is driving the body of the hero, people stand on knees because they would like to say thank you for being brave. Thank you for defending us. Thank you that you have given your life for independence and freedom of our country. And children do the same. And even, for example, if they play football, but when they hear the music, the funeral is approaching, they will stop playing football and they will stand on the knee to be grateful. This is not probably the best example, but this is the example from the wartime, yeah? So being grateful is very important, I think. So shifting your attention from, I don't know, feeling hatred or something else, which is not helpful at all, you should rather think about what you are grateful for. And your resilience depends on how you can combine your efforts with other people, how you can see many opportunities where some other people would say there is none. Yeah. So I think that that makes us resilient and strong because we get focused on the right things.
Oh, this is breathtaking. Honestly, the gratitude attitude that you're paying your tribute to your martyrs, that those who have sacrificed their today for your tomorrow, and bowing down and kneeling down, and right from the older ones to the young ones. This is really, really such a custom, such a tribute, such an honor, such an esteem to pay to somebody who has given his life or her life for the entire nation. And I mean, this gratitude attitude and trickling down from the oldest to young ones, this is really, really amazing. And this is not only limited to the soldiers, but to the doctors, to the engineers, to the frontline fighters, those who are sacrificing their beds, their homes, their comforts for the comfort, so that you live in peace and feel protected. This is, I don't have words, honestly, to pay my gratitude to the people of Ukraine, and you as a writer, Ukrainian, my friend, and honestly, do not. I am short of words. I am short of words. Thank you so much for being Ukrainian, and thank you so much for being a person of gratitude attitude. Thank you so much for honoring the honorables, for giving esteem to the esteem worthy of esteem people, and to be thankful is such an honor to yourself also. And thank you for
Thank
being
you.
yourself. Thank you. Okay, my next question, yeah, and I need
Thank
to
you.
pay this, and this is again resource myth. The question is about we generally think the resources are scarce, so this is about that. And you stated that organization often have enough resources to solve their problems, but simply
Mhm.
don't see them. What
Yeah.
are the hidden resources that most leaders overlook because they are too focused on their limitations?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. So, and this is again about where your focus of attention is. Yeah, because we all have enough. Coming back to the question of the abundance, how do you see the abundance? Because you have actually shared a lot about them. But what is abundance? Is it many? Is it plenty of something? No. Yeah, it is just this inner feeling that you will always have enough. Yeah, or you have enough already. So this is something inner. Abundance is not something from the outside, but from the inside, as we know. Yeah. And this is coming back to the resources. We all have enough resources to do everything and anything we want, be it a person or an organization. But sometimes we either forget about it, yeah, or because, again, or we ignore this knowledge. And again, why? Because when the problems come, or if we notice the shortages of something, we shift the focus of attention and we feel scared somehow. Yeah, say, oh, I'm not enough. We are not. We do not have this. We do not have enough. So we cannot solve this problem because there are not enough resources, etc. And then shifting again the focus of attention from, okay, what we are missing will not bring us anywhere. But the question, what we have already, which resources we possess already to achieve something, to have our preferred future, makes us to co-create this preferred future. And as we know, in the future, there might be, I know, hundreds of different versions of the reality. Yeah. When we start thinking about different scenarios, when we start thinking about how the situation might develop in the best way, yeah, then we enable the situation to happen. And then we find the resources, we attract resources if we need them, if we need more, and we will achieve what we want, right? So, and this is again, many teams, when they face some challenges or some problems, they get stuck, they get trapped into the problem, they are paralyzed by the problem because they are not discussing their resources, but they're discussing what is missing to solve this problem. Yeah. So, and when you do not explore the resources, then you do not know your strengths, right? I'm sure that you've seen many cases like that when you see a group of people or an organization or a person, and this person feels very unhappy or feels disappointed, yeah, because he cannot achieve something. And when you ask this person, okay, so let's examine what you already have for achieving this, then you help this person to be more powerful, more important, and to have a better future, right? And this is something that what we can do to support abundance in other people. We can sometimes just, help them out of their limiting beliefs, right? We can support them, we can share the space with them, but we can also create the space for them to be more abundant. Yeah. So, and that's what you have been saying also. When you talk to other people, you talk to them in the way that they grow more abundant because they change their mindset, right?
Well, I really agree, and as if you're reading my heart and mind, and you're speaking my heart and mind honestly, as you rightly said that what we are focusing on the scarcity or what we don't have. Whereas, I mean, as a coach, as a mentor, as a teacher, as a leader, one has to coach the team what they have. And when they have the vision in the mission, and then when they can see what will happen when you have it, what will happen when you win the war, what will happen when you get your land back, what will happen when you get this trophy. Like, I mean, a coach coaching a swimmer, every swimmer has to swim by her or himself, or the fighter has to fight himself or her. But again, you've got to make them abundant, that look what gonna you have once when you achieve this goal. So it's about having the feelings of anything which has not happened so far, but you feel like, I mean, just right now, if I get you that tonight, 12 o'clock, there will be a ceasefire between Ukraine and Russia forever. So this will give you such good feelings that you are sitting dim down and all everything. But when you get this feeling, then you can create, then you utilize this energy to making something happen. So that's all I have to say. And what do you say?
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah. Also, I would warn us against, using the ungrounded optimism or something, when we are saying something that we do not believe in. Mm? Uh, it is important. I think that it is very important to see the potential. Yeah, potential is very important. Again, I don't remember, I read it somewhere and I found it to be very useful, that when you think about people how they are, yeah, then they will stay as they are. But if they start thinking about them better than they are, eventually they will become better. So this is about trust. If you have trust, if we come back, for instance, to the organizations and leaders, yeah, if leader views his team as highly potential and trusts the process, yeah, and he thinks or she thinks about the team in the way that they can grow every day, then they will grow, because this is these are his expectations, but also his trust or her trust in the team. Yeah. So seeing potential beyond present time, I think it's very important, really. Yeah, I fully agree with you. Yeah.
Thank
And
you
by the
so
way,
much.
speaking about the potential and speaking um, capacities, you know, a Ukrainian philosopher of the 18th century, Grigory Skovoroda, he had this concept of unequal equality. Unequal equality, you know. And he also has a metaphor picture for this, a fountain, which is, by the way, even on the one of the Ukrainians' banknotes, there is his portrait and also the symbol, a fountain. So a fountain, and there are different vessels, and this fountain fills different vessels. So there are smaller vessels and bigger vessels. And do you know, so what kind of idea he has been supporting here? Any guesses?
I can have a
What might
wild
be?
guess. It's like, the justice may not be the equality, like treating, like, I mean, if somebody has a kid, kid of 5 years, a young man of 20 years, and a person of 60, 70 years, their needs would be different. So giving them one thing to like ride a bicycle, okay, for the young two kids is fine, but how about the older 70%? It's like, I mean, so the justice is different than equality. So I can have the idea what is unequal equality. And it could be that you
Yeah,
can give a bicycle to the young one, a motorbike to the grown up one, and a car to the old person. So that's
yeah,
probably, that's the justice, but not the equality. I mean, you are giving a bike, a motorbike, and a
yeah,
car, but I mean, you are doing justice, but this is not equality. So that's how I
yeah,
think
yeah.
probably this is the inequality or equality. So
So see, you as wise as a Ukrainian philosopher of the 18th century. that was that
yeah,
was that was that was, by the way, at that time, you know, in the 18th century, that was a kind of the revolutionary idea. Yes, because he said, yeah, so the fountain is filled by God. Yeah, that's how he saw that. So, which means that the energy from the God fills all the vessels. But as some of them are smaller and some are bigger, they have different demands for this energy, yeah? But all of them can be filled up to the top. And it depends on the vessel. So on one hand, as you have just rightly said, on one hand, it looks like inequality, yeah? But on the other hand, everyone will get what this person potentially can consume. So if all the vessels are full, it means that everyone is satisfied and um, um, all the people are abundant. Yeah, because the smaller vessel needs obviously smaller amount of of water or whatever, yeah? And the bigger has the need for bigger volume. But if they are both full, then they have realized their potential. Yeah, and I think that is very important, because when we are speaking about how to make this life more just, or this world more just. We are voting for justice, and this is something that is very important for Ukrainians at the moment, and it has been always important for us, but at this very moment, justice is, of course, our value, not one of our values. Then justice is not about continue to pour water where it doesn't fit anymore, but just to ensure that everyone has got what is needed for him, for this person. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, I thank God. I mean, the idea struck right away, right on time, and that's what is justice is all about. Like a mother feeding all whole family members according to their needs. So the grown up and the young ones.
Right.
I have the idea that this is how the state has to do this, and surely yes, the justice is the true demand for everyone everywhere, and especially those aggression hit areas like Ukraine, like Palestine, like Iraq, or other countries like Afghanistan, or maybe other. There could be other. I may not be naming. I'm not knowing the name, but every time this is needed, and this should be. It should be there. I mean, I don't think there could be any reason invading any country. I can't be convinced by anyone. Okay, my next question is, if this is learning from success. Most corporate cultures are obsessed with learning from mistakes. You argue, you argue it is more useful to learn from successful experiences. How does this shift help a team move away from our defensive, scarcity-based culture towards one of the growth and innovation?
Yeah, right. When I talk to teachers in Ukraine, and we discuss their relationship with students, then this is my favorite phrase. I always say that learning from success is more helpful and better than to learn from mistakes. And this is again about the focus of attention, because if you get your focus on mistakes, then how do you feel? If someone says, "Oh, that was a mistake. Um, I should learn the lesson. I should not make this kind of mistakes in the future." Then what kind of energy do you produce when you say that? Yeah, so this is not the best energy, and this is not the best feeling, yeah, when you have. And again, some people argue that there are no mistakes in life, and there is only experience. I don't know. I think that if there is a word mistake, so there are mistakes. Yeah, but it is not necessarily. So we cannot avoid making mistakes. Yeah, but it is not necessarily that we dwell on them. It's not necessarily that we get stuck on the mistakes, because if there is a mistake, there is also something that we have done well. Even like generally it is considered as a mistake, but even within this mistake there is something that was useful, helpful, and that was done right. Yeah, imagine if you have a team and your team has done a project, and this project is not very successful. Maybe even this project is a failure. But there was something in this project that was still helpful. There were some elements that were helpful. There were some periods when the project was developing well. And then imagine you and me, we are sitting and discussing the project. And you are the member of this team. And I can ask you a question. Oh, Zafar, so this project is not very successful. What are your mistakes? How can you eliminate your mistakes? What you can do about your mistakes? How your mistakes impact your, productivity? Then it is a discussion about mistakes, and you do not feel very well, yeah, because you say, I have not done it very well, etc. Yeah, and you feel demotivated. Yeah, but if I start our conversation from the phrase, okay, so this project is at this phase, and out of everything that you have done so far, what are you proud of? Or what do you think was done right? Then we start from what? From analyzing your success. And will it change your attitude to everything? I think yes, because when you start to discuss success elements of everything you do, then you build a platform, yeah? And then you can change something because you've got this very strong platform, because you have done already something nice, and you've got resources, and you've got talents and skills, yeah? And this is a very good questions to start any mistake mistake focused conversation, not from what you have done wrong, but out of everything that you have done, what you have done right. Then you've got a different quality of conversations, and then it's not about missing, it's about abundance again, yeah? You have done something well, you've got your resources, you've got your skills, you've got your talents, you've got a vision for the future, and then you move forward. You do not learn from mistake, but you learn from your successes. So that's the idea. Again, hopefully it makes sense to you and to the
Yeah,
listeners.
yeah, it does. I mean, it gets me lots of energy too. And especially when you look at a crisis and then you look at the classroom and then you find a person who can resolve the issue. I really love the way you think. That's really
Mm.
amazing. Again, with your permission, Victoria, I'd like to have an eye on the current situation of the Ukraine. Please appraise us what is happening and how this global abundance organization or the people who are of the similar mindset can help resolve the issue or get us through what is happening right now. And additive question is, before you speak on that, can you just give us what is the problem exactly? What's wrong between two nations? Such in the era of AI, this is 2026, the 21st century is first quarter has already passed, and we are moving to the first half of this 21st century, and AI is there, artificial general intelligence is under alpha versions, and artificial super intelligence gonna be very soon around the corner. And look, the world has gone so far, and we like there are missions going to Mars also, and we are fighting for what? I mean, would you like to please throw some light? I understand. I mean, this is very touchy and very emotional, but I mean, we, the entire world, other than Ukraine, rest assured, we all stand with you because you are under oppression, you are under aggression, you are being invaded, and you are losing lives, and we all stand with you. Over to you.
Yeah, so this is a very complicated question that you asked. Basically, you're asking me why Russia decided to kill Ukrainians. Yeah. And this is really a complicated question, and also of course you can ask Russians why they decided so. But this problem is not the problem of the last 4 years, or actually the war started in 2014, as you know, when Russia annexed and occupied a part of Ukraine and Crimea. Yeah, but it started even earlier, much earlier than that, because it is a very old problem. You know that if you have an empire, the empire has got their own rules and mentality and culture and everything. They think that the rest of the world is their subordinates, their slaves, and they also treat their own people like slaves. For a long period of time, there is there is such a phrase when the invasion started, not the war, because again the war started in 2014, but the invasion, when it started in 2022, there was this phrase that the biggest mistake of Russians, of Putin, is to send slaves to free, independent and free people. Yeah. So why they attacked, why they want to kill for pleasure, I would say so, but because this is a genocide, definitely. There is ecocide, genocide, culturecide, so this is a genocide war. Why they decided to do so, it's very difficult to understand, because you cannot understand with their normal mind. You should have a very ill mind to understand why people like to kill. Yeah. So this is not probably the question for me. But if you ask how you can support Ukrainians, I always ask other people from different countries, I always ask, first of all, please do not think of us as victims. Also, we are victims. In reality, we are. And what does it mean? That, for instance, my colleagues, especially during the first year of the invasion, they would speak with me and would say, "Oh, Victoria, poor you. How can you survive in these conditions? How can you live without this and that? And you know, Russia is a big country, and of course, Ukraine is a smaller country." And for us in Ukraine, this is the language that we do not speak here inside the country. Because if we speak this language, we will be already conquered. Yeah. And I always ask, because all the words are energies, I always ask them, yeah, so this situation is dreadful. There are a lot of atrocities here, but Ukrainians are strong and they are resilient and they will cope with this and they will win, or they are already the winners. So think of us differently, because in this way you are sending us the energy of support and you make us stronger. When you speak to us in this victim language, then first we do not understand it because it is not helpful at this moment. And then you make us weaker. So this is very important. And of course, you can support in any way. I mean, it could be anything, United 24, volunteering, donations, or whatever. So you know all the possible ways. We've got a lot of different resources that could welcome your support. Yeah. But this is, I think it's, again, this is about abundance. If we have the abundance of weaknesses, it will never help us to win. So to win, we need the abundance of strength. So anything that make us stronger, and that's what we have been generating inside the country, I think is helpful and very welcome.
Thank you so much, Victoria. And for sure, the abundance of weaknesses can only be scarcity. And
Yeah, right.
can only be scarcity. The opposite to scarcity is abundance. Abundance can always be strong, positive, could be cooperation, collaboration, cooperation, coexistence, respecting each other's sovereignty, respecting each other's differences. So that's how we can make this blue dot a paradise right here. And there are lots of nations on the globe. They are living in peace. They are respecting each other. They are trading with each other, and they are living wonderful lives. Look at the Central Europe and all of the Europe rather. So there is no war, active war going on anywhere. They are not killing each other, but unfortunately, the stronger countries.
Zafar, I would disagree with you here, because I mean there is a war in Europe, and this is
Again,
Russia's aggression against Europe. because
That's against, yeah,
this is
general
no,
aggression.
absolutely. Ukraine is not only defending their country. We are defending the whole Europe, but also maybe the whole world is impacted. And I'm absolutely sure, and that's what I was writing. I think that if it is about the territories or weapons or whatever, then of course this is a kind of local war. But if you think how this war has been impacting the minds of the people everywhere in the world. This is the Third World War already. I have been receiving messages and letters from all over the world. And, a person from Australia, she writes to me that, I cannot sleep well because of this and that and that. When I read about this, my heart is broken, etc. She's somewhere in Australia, but her mind, her health, her mindset is impacted. Or when Russia actually blocked the seaports in Ukraine, and then millions of people in Africa happened to be without bread, without wheat, So they were impacted. They were in Africa. They has nothing to do as if to this war, but they are impacted. So we are all impacted. Whenever the war is, if there is something happening in your country, then I am also impacted. Maybe I'm not aware of this, and this is not very good not to be aware of this, But so we have to keep that in mind all the time. It's not, there are no local conflicts or there are no local wars. It's all universal, and it should be treated like that.
True. I mean, as we were talking before this program, that why majority allow the minorities to rule them. So probably we've got people who are thinking for the abundance, and they are caring, like an Australian girl caring for you. I mean, from the far apart, like poles apart, different as far as geographical locations are concerned. But the conscious and mind and heart of the people, those who think with their heart and with
Absolutely.
their
And it
soul.
helps. Yes, and it
Yeah.
helps. By the way, I've heard a very interesting story. You probably like this story. Some time ago, I was discussing things or delivering training to women whose men, be it husband or sons or fathers, they are in Russian prisons, and of course, they are tortured there, because Russians are like that, And when I was preparing to meet these women, I was thinking about them, and I was thinking how difficult their life might be, because they live without their men, but also they have been fighting to take them from the detention somehow, and some of them they don't even know because their husband and sons are missing, And I was thinking about them, and I was thinking about all the pain they might have. But then I stopped myself and say, look, but they are so strong. And they appear to be very strong. They are very, very strong people. And interestingly, that one of the ladies, she shared with me the story. She said that, to be powerful, to be strong, to be resilient, I do this and this, and I also pray with monks from India. I say, how do you do that? Or do you know mantras? How do you do that? And she said, oh no, I know nothing. I mean, I don't know mantras. So, but they pray for us. They sing mantras probably, and I pray as I can pray, but we pray together. And this is so interesting. Then people somewhere in India, they pray for Ukraine, or they sing special mantras to support Ukraine. And she has been together with them. And she said, there are many people from Ukraine, actually. We just come together. We do not understand each other, but we still feel that we are together in this. And this is an amazing example. This is an amazing example that people even could probably be not able to share the language, but they still are able to share their emotions and their unity.
Yeah, that's really really amazing. Again, what could be the possible solution to the differences between two countries?
Safa. So, what is the solution? The solution is so the best solution is actually, so it will be not what you would like to hear, but people like Putin's, yeah, they do not understand the language. If you meet Putin or Russians and you will tell them about abundancy and about the importance of being nice, etc., they would probably not understand you, or they will misunderstood you in their own way. Yeah. So some people do not understand. They will only understand when you. Oh no. Let's take this example. Imagine you go along the street and you see two people fighting. Yeah, two teenagers fighting, and you see that one teenager is much stronger than this second teenager. Yeah, and then people around, they are standing and they have called the police and they are waiting for the police. But you understand that if you do not take an action, then this stronger teenager would really kill this weaker teenager. What would you do? Will you talk to this stronger teenager? No, first you will just
I'll
take him
stop.
away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll actually
Maybe
stop.
even you hit the, yeah, maybe you even hit him. Yeah. And because you need that to stop him. And then you can talk to him later on. But there is a moment when you have to demonstrate your power to stop him. So maybe this is also an example. By the way, this example is real. One Ukrainian family shared this example with me 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago. They were in one of the European countries, and that's what really happened to them. So the man actually exercised his power on this stronger teenager to prevent him from killing the weaker teenager. And then the police arrived and they say, you shouldn't have done this. And that was a very big surprise for Ukrainian family, of course, because in this case, first you have to stop something and then you can talk. And that also refers to what is happening now here. First, Russia should be stopped. And then you can discuss with Russia, of course. But again, don't forget that this is a terrorist state. So they should be treated like terrorist state. And they are killers. So they should be treated like that. It's not about innocent or, a party of the conflict. This is a very different situation. They should be responsible for what they have been doing. So my best hope is that they are stopped somehow and we can discuss later. But at this moment, it should be. We shouldn't be always nice, I think. It's nice to be nice, but there are some situations that you have to be not so nice at the beginning to have a better result. Yeah. So, and then about abundance, coming back to this abundance thing, I think that if you were never scared, then maybe you would not understand what abundance is. So, because it's everything in comparison. You develop the mindset of the abundance, but the comparison is, that's what I asked you. So what is the opposite to abundance? Because this world is built on duality. Something is cold, something is hot, something is low, something is tall or high. Yeah, and the same is about abundance and something which is opposite. If there is no what is opposite, then we don't know what is abundance.
Yeah, true. The concept of abundance is data driven. Its abundance is already there. Like you've got 8,000 times. You got light that the sun is emitting light, which is 8,000 times more than the requirement of the globe, entire globe. If we have whole solar panels on our rooftops, then this is more than we've got water, more than enough. It's in abundance. We've got air, oxygen in abundance, resources, food, and the cultivatable land is in abundant. Everything is in abundance, but only one thing, the scarcity is in here. Like we since we are scarce in mindset, because in the history and the prehistoric and the primitive civilizations, they were scarce on food, they were scarce on security, they were scarce on living and everything. But the culture, the writers still they keep writing about those things. So they are training our heart and mind through culture again. And one more thing, especially the media right now, that we are all the time glued to these blue screens, and they are giving you negative news all the time, just to keep your eyes glued to the blue screen, so that they have the better rating and they can earn the. But sorry to say, this is their business model. If the more eyes are glued to their channels, so then they'll have the lots of more advertisements on their channels, and they'll grow rich and richer. But
Zafar, Zafar,
yeah,
Zafar, Zafar. So we've got about 5 minutes. I'm sorry because there is no
yeah,
electricity and
I
my
understand. I understand. You low
computer.
on batteries, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So sorry about that, but yeah,
So
this is the reality.
we are going only last 3 minutes. I mean, I like to have your finality about the discussion you had, and for the past, present, and the future of what we think. How can we collaborate, and or at least we can talk and we can send it to the people who may care about abundance, or like sovereignty, respect, and respecting the neighbors, and for the
Mhm.
collaboration, and cooperation for the futures. Back to you.
Yeah, yeah. When you are asking me how or what we can do to spread the abundance around, I come back to the Lao Tzu again, I think, or it was Confucius again. I'm sorry, I don't want to mislead you. But the phrase is like that. If you would like to talk, if you talk to a person who doesn't deserve it, you are losing your words.
Mm.
When you don't talk to a person who deserves it, you are missing a person. So the wise person doesn't miss people and doesn't waste words. And this is something that I think is very wise, because you can only spread abundance in a very ecological way. Those who are ready, they will open their hearts and their minds to what you are saying, to what you are sharing. Those who would like to keep their minds and hearts closed, you have to be grateful and forgive them, of course, yeah, because they are as they are. You respect them as they are. And then you do not waste your words talking to those people who are not ready yet. But you also share your wisdom with those who are thirsty for this. And I think this is important. I do not support the idea that the concept of abundancy should be forced on everyone. I think this is a wrong way, and you will just misuse your energy. But I am absolutely for the idea that those people who are looking for it, and they have this feeling that there is something for them, they should receive our support, our energy, our openness, our trust with them. And this is what I think both of us have been doing.
The Confucius said once, the essence of knowledge is having it applied. And really, really, I mean, it was amazing talking to you, a person of
Thank
abundance.
you.
You are really, really an abundant person, though in the shadows of the war and in the in the hard times. Like, I mean, you're listening to the news which are already haunting and already the killing, the massacres, and as you told me about the train and haunted all. Oof, my goodness, I mean, I really, it's really lethal. I mean, and but still, you are with the light and with the mind of abundance, and you're spreading abundance, and you are already tuned into abundance, and you are seeking solutions from the problems and taking these problems as energy. And you are taking since you are resilient, and you refuse to be called as victim, but you are victorious. I mean, you are already victorious. This is just about time, honestly. And we all stand with you. Stay blessed and see you soon. Bye bye.
Thank you. Thank you.